Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about a first-rate shithouse called Dominic Noonan. I'll show you his photograph to start with. Here we are. Here he is. Dominic Noonan, eh? Thinks he's a tough guy. Have a good look at him. If you see him around, make sure you're wearing 2 pairs of underpants, because he's that kind of guy. Seriously. This arsehole has had 40 convictions. 40 convictions. Imagine how much that has cost the country. He's been found guilty of armed robbery, police assault, fraud, prison escape, indecent assault. He's done 22 years in prison. He's been convicted of rape and false imprisonment on a 15-year-old boy. He's convicted of arson, of blackmail, of perverting the course of justice. In May of the year 2018, he was convicted of 13 sex offences against males under the age of 18. This man's a male rapist. I did show you his photograph, didn't I? Just in case you've forgotten what a complete arsehole looks like. Well, he don't want a complete arsehole, does he? He just wants any old arsehole. And he'll get hold of it and forcibly inject himself within, the dirty bastard. Anyway, he was in strange ways, this bloke. I call him a bloke, let's call him a creature. Yeah, Dominic Noonan, just in case you're wondering what his name is, in case you forgot. Dominic Shithouse, Arse Bandit, Rapist Noonan. Yeah. Now, in Strange Ways, he said, he was too tough for Strange Ways. They couldn't handle him at Strange Ways. Except he was down the block, banged up in an empty cell with no clothes on, being forcibly injected by hospital officers. You know, what hospital officers? You're looking at one here, yeah? Like X, I'm not doing it anymore, am I? And there was a documentary made about this creep. He's a creep, isn't he? A creep. A documentary by, it was called A Very British Gangster. I believe you can see it if you go on YouTube, you'll be able to see it. And in it, I mean, I have seen this horrible piece of rubbish, and he was on that documentary, and he was going into a church seeking out the priest, a Catholic priest, and seeking absolution for his sins. And when he's been received, the blessings of the priest, he's asked, what is it all about now? What's going to happen now? He said, I'm going back to it now. I've been forgiven my sins. I'm going to commit some more. Dominic Noonan. But, I mean, you've got to say, he might be good for something. I mean, don't forget, he's got a son. So he's a father. And, I'm sure that his son looks up to him. And it's all right for blokes like me to comment on him and criticise him just because he's spent 22 years in prison, costing the taxpayer, I don't know, £500,000, maybe more. Not doing anything productive in society. At one point, this idiot was trying to run a protection racket like the Cray twins. Yeah. Dominic Noonan. But, as I said, he is a father, and he should be very proud of his son. Here's a picture of his son, by the way. Yep. You see his son? That's his son, Stephen, yeah? you can recognise, it looks a bit like one of those philosophical genius types. A bit like, I don't know, Friedrich Nietzsche. Thus spake Zarathustra. Here he is. You can see that he's got them philosophical, that look about him, hasn't he? Except he ain't a very successful criminal, because he's just got himself some serious time locked up for ringing cars. Yeah, I think he's got himself 3 years or something like that. Also, he's known as, his name is Stephen, but he's known as Bugsy. Bugsy Noonan. Yeah, I wonder what kind of school of philosophy would you say that he was one of the Immanuel Kant's followers, yeah? Or Wittgenstein? He wouldn't know Wittgenstein from a beer stein. Anyway, that's the Noonan family. So-called tough guys, throw the weight around, picking on old women and little blokes and children, and he obviously is twisted because he spent 22 years inside raping young men. How disgraceful is that? How disgraceful is that? Anyway, I was dealing with people like that. Get the doctor to give me a syringe. I got the answer. It's a padded cell and an arse full of Largactyl. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to read you a poem now. Ready? That's the song Ding Ding Donger. Yeah, this is a poem I wrote. You can see my book here, yeah. This is called Why Do I Own a Car? Because it struck me, what was the point of me owning a car? Why do I own a car? Well, I use it to get to work and back, use it to get around, But they are so expensive. And I mean, really, these days with petrol at virtually £7 a gallon, you can see that people are going to start thinking, why do I own a car? Right, well, this is my take on why do I own a car. Why do I own a car by John G. Sutton. That would be me, by the way. Now, why do I own a motor car? That question came into my head. As I turned the ignition one morning, the engine just coughed and went dead. So I opened the hood for inspection, thinking I might find a clue. But the computer-controlled fuel injection baffled me, and Einstein too. In despair, I called a mechanic, who arrived with a thingamy-bob that he hooked into the electrics. Then he smiled as he weighed up the job. My temperature auto-compression was misaligned badly and odd. It would cost me plenty to fix it, he said, as he unscrewed a certain knob. I'd remortgaged my house just to buy it, and now had to stump up more dough, or leave the car and start walking to work where I needed to go. So I paid a month's wage to the monkey, who told me the car was spot on. But my prayer to the Lord God of Motors, I'd hoped that the trouble had gone. The car started up on the first time. My cup really doth overflow. So I drove half a mile to the office and worked there till midnight or so. To make up for the hours I'd wasted, stuck when the car wouldn't drive, I did extra time at the grindstone, feeling knackered, just about half alive. So, why do I own a motor car? That thought drives me round the bend. Perhaps it's to save me the trouble of having some money to spend. There you go. Why do I own a car? And today's subject has been one of Manchester's own shithouses, a legend in his own lavatory, Dominic Shithouse Noonan. Tales from the jails.